Hi guys, welcome to my second part of the tutorial how to crochet the beautiful bag with flower squares. In this part I will show you how to crochet the square. So again, for this this part of the bag you will need crochet hook 5.5 millimeters. For people who's not interested making a bag, this pattern will be also good for making a pillow cover or blanket or whatever you want. Okay. Our square, we have to start by making magic ring. So for now we will use only one strap of yarn and still using the big crochet hook. And we have to make magic ring. Into the magic ring we need to work for single crochets. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we have to close the loop, but not too tight because we will need work inside of that loop later on. And we have to join into the first single crochet by making slip stitch. Oh my god. Okay, I've joined. Now we have to make chain 1, and into the same stitch we need to work 1/2 double crochet, then chain 1 and slip stitch into the same stitch. Now we are going to the next single crochet and we have to make slip stitch, chain 1, 1/2 double crochet, chain 1 and slip stitch into the same stitch. So we've got small petals. We are going to the next stitch and we have to make single crochet again, chain 1, 1/2 double crochet, chain 1 and slip stitch into the same stitch, and one more time into the 4th single crochet we have to make exactly the same. Slip stitch, chain 1, 1/2 double crochet, chain 1 and slip stitch at the end. We have to skip the stitch when we've done slip stitch from the previous row. We don't count this. Now we have to turn our work and we will be working onto the back of our petals. So now we have to put our crochet hook into the center of the petal and then into the center of our circle. So that's why I told you to not close too tight. And now we have to make a slip stitch, then chain of 2, 1 and 2. We are going to the next center of the petal and we have to make exactly the same. Slip stitch, then chain of 2, 1 and 2, and again into the next center of the petal, into the center of the flower, then slip stitch and chain 2, and one more time, 1, 2, into the center of the petal, into the center of the flower, slip stitch, chain of 2. So now we should have 4 times chain 2 space. I've got 1, 2, 3 and this is the 4th one, and now we have to make slip stitch into the first chain 2 space, and now we will start working onto the next petals. So as we done the slip stitch, now we will work in each chain 2 space and into the first one we have to start by making chain 1, then 3 double crochets into the chain 2 space, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1 and slip stitch into the same chain 2 space. Now we have to go to the second chain 2 space and into the second one we have to make slip stitch, then 3 double crochets, so exactly the same as we've done on the previous chain 2 space. So 1, 2, 3, then chain 1 and slip stitch into the same chain 2 space. We are going to the next chain 2 space and exactly the same. Slip stitch, chain 1, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1 and slip stitch. Into the next, slip stitch, chain 1, 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1 and slip stitch. So we've done 4 petals again. And now we can close the loop tighter. We don't need this hole anymore. We will hide our tails a little bit later. As we've done the last slip stitch, now we have to start working onto the behind of petals. So now we have to make slip stitch into the center of the petal. So as you can see, we had chain 2 space. So now I will put my crochet hook between first and second double crochet and then under the petal. So we're still working on the chain 2 space from the previous row, and then we have to make slip stitch and chain of 2, 1 and 2. Now we are going to the space between 2 petals, and you can see that you've got some kind of yarn here, just one string. So you have to put the crochet hook into that one stitch and then make a slip stitch and chain of 2. And again we are going to the center of the petal between first and second double crochet, you need to make a slip stitch and chain of 2, 1 and 2. And again we have to find that piece of yarn from the previous row. We need to make a slip stitch into that stitch and then chain of 2, 1 and 2. We are going to the next petal, again slip stitch, chain of 2, 1 and 2, and into the space between 2 petals. So I have to grab this yarn, slip stitch, chain of 2, 1 and 2, into the center of the next petal. This is the last one, chain of 2 and into our space between 2 petals. Slip stitch, chain of 2, 1 and 2. So at the end you should have 8 times chain 2 space. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this will be the 8th one. Slip stitch into the first chain of 2 spaces. And now you have to work chain of 2, 1 and 2, and into the same chain 2 space 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3, then chain of 2, 1 and 2, and slip stitch into the same chain 2 space. Now we have to go to the second one, slip stitch, chain of 2, 1 and 2, 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, chain of 2, 1 and 2, and slip stitch into the same chain 2 space. We are going to the next one, and we have to repeat this pattern in each chain 2 spaces. So at the end we should have 8 petals. I've done my 3 petals, so now we have to start working onto the back of our petals. So now we've got chain 3 spaces and 3 double crochet. So between first and second double crochet we have to make a slip stitch, and now chain of 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we are going to the second petal, and we're making exactly the same between second and third, first and second double crochet, slip stitch, and then chain of 3, 1, 2 and 3, and into the next one. Slip stitch, chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, into the next, to the next one, slip stitch. What I've done. Chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and again. So this time we should have 8 times chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now I should have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this will be the 8th. Slip stitch into the first chain 3 spaces. Now chain of 3, 1, 2 and 3, and into the same chain 3 space we have to make 4 treble crochets. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, then chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into the same chain 3 space. Now we are going to the next chain free space and we have to make exactly the same. So slip stitch, chain free, 1, 2 and 3, 4 treble crochets, 1, 2, 3 and 4, chain free, 1, 2, 3 and slip stitch into the same chain free space. So we have to repeat this in each chain free space all the way around. When we've done the last one slip stitch into the last one petal, now we have to make a slip stitch in each of the on each chain of the chain free space from the beginning of the previous row. So this will be the first one, now slip stitch into the second, then into the third. Also we need to make a slip stitch into the first treble crochet, into the second, and now into the space between third and fourth we have to make slip stitch as well, but not into the stitch, but just into the space between those two treble crochets. When we've done it, now we have to make chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch. So we've done slip stitch, then chain 1 and single crochet, chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we are going to the next petal. We have to skip the first treble crochet, okay, we have to skip those stitches and in between, into the space between second and third treble crochet we have to make a single crochet, then chain 1, 1 double crochet, then chain 1 and again single crochet. So this part will be a corner into our square. Now again chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the space between second and first treble crochet we have to work only 1 single crochet and then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again we are going to the space between second and third treble crochet, and now we have to make single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 and single crochet. So we've got another corner, chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 single crochet into the center of the next petal, again chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and into the center of the next petal we have to make next corner. So 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1 and 1 single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into the center of the next petal only 1 single crochet, then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and one more corner into the center of the next petal. So single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 and single crochet. Now we need to work the last chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and slip stitch into the first single crochet of this row. Now we can fasten off and cut the yarn, but we are not finishing the square yet. So now we need to grab 2 strands of yarn. I've got 2 strands already, and we have to join into the same stitch as we join. So into the one single crochet. After that we have to make chain of 2, 1 and 2, and we are going to the first chain 5 space, and we have to work 4 half double crochet. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we have to skip the single crochet. Into the space between single crochet and double crochet we have to work 1 half double crochet, then chain 1, 1 half double crochet into the double crochet, chain 1 and 1 half double crochet into the space between double crochet and single crochet. Now we've got next chain 5 space. We have to work 4 half double crochet in this chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 half double crochet into the single crochet and another 4 half double crochets into the next chain 5 space. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and again we are into the corner now, so we have to skip the single crochet, 1 half double crochet into the space between single crochet and the double crochet, then chain 1, 1 half double crochet into the double crochet from the previous row, chain 1 and 1 half double crochet into the space between double crochet and single crochet. We've got next chain 5 space, so we need to work 4 half double crochets, then 1 half double crochet into the single crochets, next 4 half double crochets into the chain 5 space, and we have to repeat exactly our pattern all the way around. At the end of this round we have to make a slip stitch into the chain 2, and that actually our square is finished. So now if you are making a bag, don't forget that you need to make 6 the same squares. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.